All right, welcome back. And now let's take a look at what's on the front page of the Star newspaper. Why Giant Raila Coalition major threat to ODM? Why Giant Raila Coalition? There you have it on the front page of the Star newspaper. Why Giant Raila Coalition major threat to ODM? Azimio affiliate parties are riding on Odinga wave, but will eventually cost his party many seats in Western Nairobi and Coast, Kisii and Coast. That is the story on the front page of the Star newspaper. Again, Orange Party not vibrant in some of its former bases. It's just almost close to what we've just been talking about here, the party coalitions and the strengths of parties. I'll give you more details as to what that story says. Now, the story of Okoth Obado and the late student. The story, let me give you, Obado trial, condoms at murder scene untested. The police said that they failed to get fingerprints stored exhibits contrary to the law. Now, it emerged in court yesterday that police also failed to get fingerprints on the condoms and stored them, which are exhibits, in brown envelopes contrary to the law, which could have possibly erased significant details. Now, the revelations were made during hearing of against Migori Governor Okoth Obado, his personal assistant, that's Michael Oyamo, and Kaspal Obiero, who are accused of killing Sharon and her unborn baby. Now, the three are accused of committing the crime on September 3rd, 2018 at Owadi area, Homa Bay County. Owadi area is just around 4 kilometers from my home. Yes. All right. So, dismiss appeal by American pedophile. DPP urges court, says that he deserves no mercy as he was caught on tape sexually abusing kids. The DPP is in his submission said that the 59-year-old American Terry Bay deserves no mercy because he was caught on tape sexually abusing Kenyan children. That story continues there. We have got why Giant Raila Coalition is a threat to ODM party. The reason why is that the parties have been flexing their muscles as they brace for a contest with rival candidates from Raila's ODM, complicating the party's strategy to win the majority of seats. This actually explains further what we've just been talking about, because when you talk of the Azimio coalition, what now they say is that the only seat, in fact, politically speaking, that the only seat that is not available is the president seat. All other seats are available. You can go for any seat so long as you are within the coalition, that is the Azimio coalition. You can pick anybody from whichever party. We have got several parties here forming the Azimio. We have got the Jubilee Party, PNU, we have got Wiper, KANU, Ubuntu, Muungano, etc., etc. You can pick any candidate of your choice so long as they are within the Azimio party. So what the story says is that this is going to erode the strength of ODM in its former basis, but that is politics. Raila to storm Ruto's Rift Valley backyard in renewed vote hunt. They have not given the exact dates here, but this will be the first time he will be visiting the region since being crowned Azimio flag bearer. And finally, in politics, DP Ruto accuses Raila of incitement of Mau Forest. He says that the issue was in the past and Azimio team should not cling to it for votes. Actually, the DP was in Narok County yesterday. Doreen, take it away.
DPP on the spot of a Linturi case bagling, whereby now the NCIC is on the DPP's case, saying that the way in which that office is handling most of these cases allied to hate speech is not in a fair way. You can remember the Madoa sentiments there by the Meru Senator Mithika Linturi, and now the DPP is dismissing those accusations, saying that he has no business to protect a suspect. That is what the DPP is saying over those accusations by NCIC. And Mama Ngina supports Raila in Uhuru's succession matrix. That's what you have this morning on the front page of the People's Daily. In fact, that is the main read. This is as he was speaking yesterday in a funeral in Gatundu South. And she finally broke her silence on the succession of her son, whereby she passionately appealed to Kenyans to support the preferred candidate of the president, not outrightly mentioning Raila Odinga's name, but also saying that the president cannot mislead the electorate or the country in who he chooses to pick as his successor. So even as that is happening, the undecided Karua keeps all guessing, just like the National Assembly Speaker, that is Justin Muturi, who of course is going at it on the DP ticket. But even as that, for any party deciding or wanting to join a coalition, they have between today and April 9th, because going by the Political Parties Amendment Act, if you choose or decide to join any coalition, you have to do that 4 months before the general election. Again, also speaking to a local TV station yesterday, Martha Karua said that OCA is dead. This is as those individual parties, of course, talking about KANU, DP and Wiper, when they chose to sign that Azimio deal as individual parties, this rendered the OCA coalition dead. And again, she also went out to say that she is looking for forces who are ready to serve citizens and are selfless. So which forces are there is it going to be Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, or will she choose to go at it alone, perhaps what the National Assembly Speaker is doing? And if at all she chooses to join a coalition, she has between today and April of 9th to do that. And also MPs back bill to counter campaign financing law. I mean, if you look at the Elections Act of 2013, it states that aspirants need to disclose their sources of funds, of course, where they get their money that finances their election campaigns, and also the different cash they get here and there. But going by this proposed bill by the Ragwa MP, that is Jeremiah Kioni, which is now on its second reading, if it passes, then it won't be mandatory. And I'm just thinking, as an electorate, what is so wrong with disclosing where your campaign money comes from? If you are an aspirant, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know why MPs really are backing this particular bill. I really want to know where you're getting your money from as an aspirant.
Umekanyaga live wire.
But why wouldn't we know where your money is coming from?
You know,
money comes from the Lord.
There's a lot of corruption. So a lot of aspirants don't want to disclose that because they will be followed by KRA, they will be followed by DCI. So they opt for that. There's just do politics.
But honestly,
in developed countries, you must declare your source of wealth and your source of finances for any political seat, including the mayor.
And I don't even know why the Ndaragwa MP is really proposing and pushing for this bill. I mean, just like the way we want to say here, mimi kama mpiga kura, nataka nijue pesa yako inatoka wapi jamani.
Alafu sasa ukijua.
It's also about money laundering.
You see, for MPs to really be backing this particular bill, just like the way Troy is saying, so many things are coupled up surrounding in corruption. Because if it's really honestly and genuine, and that is actually a provision on the Elections Act 2013, so why then should there be a proposal of bill to counter that?
Okay.
Hapo ndio wanasemanga see no evil.
Hear no
evil.
Yes.
Speak no evil. Veni vidi vici.
Yes. Source of income to politicians.
Tricky business.
Tricky business.
Yes.
Wachana tu now.
Ati wachana nayo.
Wachana nayo.
Wengine wanakuanga na ghost funds. Harambes.
Yeah, some are
working from their businesses.
Harambes.
Like us here.
Exactly.
And then we are supposed to trust you as our leaders.
Yes.
Anyway,
with our finances.
With our finances.
Hear no evil.
Sometimes we need to be asking some of these questions.
Yes.
At least we said we should say that we did our bit. We just didn't let things slide.
Why not trust them? You elected them like 5 years ago. They've been working earning salary every month. So why not trust them? Trust them. Say, "Kuna pesa they answer."
But the issue with Kenyan politics, the dirtier the better. Yeah.
If it's not dirty, it's not good enough.
And calling people names. The next time you have a huge crowd. But if you're quiet and you do your things chini ya maji,
yes,
you'll not get any seat.
But then guys, do you know
politics, I think.
There's nothing new under the sun. I repeat this. There's nothing under the sun. You know, politics started way back in heaven. Yes, maybe you didn't know that. When the devil, yes, the devil.
I thought you would say that.
Yeah, when the devil, tried to compete with God. You understand that story?
God threw him down.
Exactly. Yeah,
he wanted. The student tried to.
And the devil is still fighting for his people as God is fighting, just like our politicians.
God said, this is my kingdom, this is my state house, this is my area, get out. So we have got to position to date. That's why the devil is fighting for his people, and God is also saying, you know what? I'm here. I'm your person. So that's how politics here today.
Troy.
Yes. Well, politics of the day. This is how the front page of the Standards looks like, and the headline says Ruto's strategy to avert UDA fallout. Well, he's talking about consensus. We've seen this in Northeastern, where clans come together and decide we are not fielding any candidate other than this person, and they have done that. We saw in Garissa, the senatorial seat, and we've seen in many other seats. But a lot of people are questioning the democracy in consensus, because we agree here, the four of us. Vicky is the one who's going to run here in Nairobi, and so we are going to support
Victor?
him.
Why not Jane?
Why exactly? My question exactly. Why? And he did that yesterday in Narrow. Yes. Why not Jane? Why not Doreen? So a lot of people are questioning that, but he is saying, he's talking about a strategy to avert a UDA fallout. Still on the front page is something that Jane had touched on, and I believe it's also in social media. Equity offers 11 billion dividend after drought. Okay, it's posted over 40 billion shillings in a battered economy. A lot of questions ask why commercial banks make so much money and so much profits in such unconducive environments. Yes, I don't belong to a bank. I belong to a SACCO, so at least I know the figures that the SACCOs give and the figures that the banks get. They are quite a divide. Anyway, away from that, which way Karua and Speaker Muturi, these are two very keen politicians are looking at these two. They want to see where they will go, but JB has said he is there for the long haul, and Martha Karua has said Oka is dead, just as Doreen said, is dead, and that was just a political vehicle. But it's also true, because they're talking about Azimio Oka deal, coalition. You cannot register a coalition if you already belong to another coalition. Okay, let's see how that pans out from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Inside, we have Officer Payne's picture of Sharon's murder scene during the hearing. I was privileged to have this case yesterday, and the police were questioned actually by the senior counsel Kioko Kilukumi why they did not observe due diligence while collecting the samples. They're saying that actually Kenya should know that during the first officer who was there, who was the deputy OCS, used her phone to take the photos of the scene. And the CSI, the crime scene investigators, came 2 days later and now took the photos. They were asked about gloves. They were asked about how they calmed the situation, how they restrained the people so that they may maintain the crime scene in a perfect condition. But there were a lot of gaping holes in their statement. Something I'm quite sure is going to touch a lot of farmers. They're talking about the fertilizer. You know, the cost of fertilizer. Can you imagine 6,000 shillings, the price of a 50 kg bag of fertilizer, and 7,000 shillings, the average price of a 7-ton lorry of manure? And a lot of farmers now, because of the rise in the cost of fertilizer, they have decided to go for the manure, and they are staying away from the costly fertilizer. And you know very well that if we have these figures, then we have an issue when it comes to food production and food security in the country.
All right, now let me bring you back to the Daily Nation. And there's an interesting story here. Two stories that are boiled down into one. So here on page 2 of the Daily Nation, police say no to degree holders after hard lesson when it comes to pay dispute. All right. And they go on to caption, "We want D holders only." All right. So the National Police has excluded degree holders in this particular recruitment drive that they are set to start tomorrow. They're looking to hire 5,000 new constables, okay? So the National Police Service Commission said that it had learnt the hard way from past mistakes when enlisting university graduates, because fine, the process goes on very smoothly, they qualify, but the problem comes when that salary negotiation place. And that has always been a problem that they have dealt with in the past, saying that degree holders come with this expectation of this particular pay, but it cannot be accommodated. So now they are on a drive targeting non-degree holders, and they're looking to recruit police constables with a minimum qualification of a D+ in their KCSE exams, and it remains as such. And there is a particular job group for the advertised position. So if you had a minimum of D+, and this is the average in your KCSE, you are qualified to apply for this particular slots at the police service. 5,000 is the target that they're aiming to get. Now, let me just read what has been quoted here. We are not discouraging graduates from joining the police service, but there are better opportunities and higher job groups that would suit them apart from the police. And
perhaps to add on that, 21 years ago, I tried out at the Kenya, it was the Kenya Army back then, the running, I did actually.
21 years ago, hebu tufanye hiyo hesabu. Wacha tutajua kwa miaka ngapi sasa hii, Troy.
So actually the issue was my grades. I was told the issue with you people who have D+ and above, we have an issue because you will come, you will study, you will be a police officer, but you will get better opportunities and you will leave the force with all the secrets, you will leave the force with all the training of handling weapons. So we were told, try cadets or something else. That I think that's something that they also need to look at, because Kenyans also need these jobs. And I thank God that, as my director is saying, I got a job as a journalist.
Look at you now.
So the
long story, I started
education.
out as a med student, so.
So the question is education.
Yes, yes.
And this just reminds me of also how a number of companies would say, we want to hire diploma holders. There's nothing with the level of education, but the whole analogy is what I have a problem with. And they would say it's because they wouldn't ask for more money. I mean, what's so wrong in asking for what you're merited to ask for?
And that is why perhaps when we hosted a doctor who is a cop, it was a very interesting story to a lot of Kenyans, because they know very well that not so many people who have degrees join the forces, either as Kenya Police or even the Kenya Defense Forces. So it's more or less like bringing up that if you study so hard, then you're a failure when it comes to the forces. My take.
But this is also pegged on the fact that last year there was a bit of demonstration within the force due to pay cuts based on the job groups as well. And then, you know, of course, we'll always fall back on your level of education. I'm a degree holder. Unanieka kwa job group gani? I'm supposed to be in that job group. Lakini unanieka kwa hii. Because there are those that were complaining they got salary cuts of over 30,000.
So what does
this
say?
Sasa hii inamaanisha
umsisome sana kama unataka job. Alafu ukishapata hiyo job sasa soma sana. As in, I just do not get it.
Soma kidogo tu ndio ukue
upate hiyo job. Then ukishapata sasa enda uadvance kidogo.
Victor, director amesema tukuulize.
Yes. No. Allow me to come with a story here.
Mbona hii story una-evade, by the way? Una-avoid.
Dodge story.
We forces and military and police, we respect the gentlemen and ladies in blue. All right? Troy.
Yes.
You can try again.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Nimepitisha kila kitu sasa.
Ingia za cadet.
Hata youth siku hizi.
Try na uingia za cadet now.
That was 21 years ago. Surely utakuwa aje youth pia wewe.
Kuna sawa. Okay.
Try.
So the expressway is almost complete, but
yes.
There is actually now they've given figures of how much motorists will pay for you to access different regions from one state to another. Now, very quickly, if you'll be moving from Lolongo to James Gishuru, you'll pay 310 shillings. One way. From JKIA to Westlands, James Gishuru to 60 bob. Southern Bypass to Museum Hill and Westlands, you'll pay 160 bob. SGR to Westlands and James Gishuru, 260. Eastern Bypass to JKIA and Southern Bypass, you'll pay 100 bob. And from James Gishuru to Haile Selassie, James Gishuru to Haile Selassie, Apu CBD, 160. Westlands to Haile Selassie, you'll pay 100 shillings. Mlolongo to Southern Bypass, 210. And finally, Mlolongo to Eastern Bypass, you'll pay 160. Now, the minimum fee here is 100, maximum is 310.
310?
Yes.
That's what you did
Kama zile mbegu za kanyari.
But you see, to some extent, well, you might question the amounts being paid, but at the end of the day, the state needs to pay this money back. This was a public-private partnership kind of agreement between the state and the companies that were given this or awarded this contract for that expressway. So how is the state supposed to repay this back if not by that toll fee, which is again also one of those questions that Kenyans had raised, that is it even necessary in the first place to have this expressway if you're going to again pay to use it?
And either way, are you realizing the convenience that this expressway will afford so many people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if your business is time sensitive.
And also is the jam, the Wayaki way jam.
You know that, Kwanza from here, the Uhuru Highway roundabout to Haile Selassie roundabout, the traffic that is normally there.
Take, for example, you are going to Kitengela and you're moving all the way because Wayaki Way is complete all the way from Kangemi, Uthiru, Kikuyu, Gitaru, and so you want to move from Kikuyu straight to Mlolongo. Get that.
And you have 30 minutes to do that.
You'll have to pay 310 shillings and then you're off to go. Non-stop.
Or you can trade that for traffic.
For traffic.
It's your choice.
It's your choice, by the way.
But Mombasa Road haiendi anywhere. It's still going to be there even as the expressways will be existing.
And also good to note that the borders will not be allowed to use that highway.
Two-wheel, they say
two-wheelers.
Motors.
Even
will not be allowed there.
Bicycles.
But also they need to give guidance, you know, for how many years will we be paying? Once this particular loan has been serviced to completion, like what's the way forward? We know it'll take quite a number of years, but you know.
And a good number of years, because again, remember when it comes to roads, when it comes to roads, and the money that is used for construction is not only just for construction purposes. All the time, these roads that are either constructed, expanded altogether, or just something is being done, there's always a maintenance fee.
Yes.
Which comes after the amount that was paid for construction. So clearly, that's why Jen has put it. It's your choice.
They don't allow
70, alafu after hapo,
that's it.
Free.
So
I don't think they're going to do that. It's a cash cow.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, but
tutapata watu anduthi tu hapo tu juu. Tutapata tu na
katuku. Victor, kama ni wewe mtu anduthi, ungependa kupitia tu usikie venye ina feel.
The more says, si upande matatu basi, get a cab, go to Mlolongo and back, pay the toll fee, come back, and then pick your nduthi.
Just to have an experience.
Exactly.
And a feel of how
trust me, there's so many people who are just waiting to just experience it.
But you see, also it's because of what has been said about the expressway. I mean, this is that road that is supposed not just to shape Nairobi, but the entire East Africa. So clearly that experience bit is going to be very important for most people.
Okay, I have a suggestion to this. Once the road is complete,
live from there,
they should give Nairobans, actually, they should open it for free for 2 weeks. Experience, get the thrill, enjoy, and everything, then boom.
Decide whether you are ready to pay.
Jam fast floor.
Yes. Enjoy. Come on to Nduthi, let them ride there, follow the traffic rules, but then unaambiwa on this particular date, this will take effect.
Tutakuwa na 14-day trial period.
Yes.
Like the SGR.
Exactly.
It made a lot of money. It made a lot of money for the first couple of months. everybody wanted to
experience
test.
it.
You will see Mutwanduthi going at a speed of
You watu wengi
240.
wako na curiosity
Exactly,
sana. Like,
yes.
And the
expressway.
speedsters, the Subaru guys.
And you actually saw, I think it was last month, there was a tweet that was doing so many rounds on social media about, I don't know if it's a Burundian citizen or Rwandese, where they posted a picture of the expressway and they're like, look at what our cousins are doing. A few years ago, they were the broke cousins. Now Kenya was the broke cousins. Look at their road right now.
Man.
That's why I'm saying this is one of those roads that not just shape Nairobi, but the entire East Africa. Maybe this is why we just need that experience of at least 7 or 14 days.
And even for so many
Just see how
people who
it feels.
struggle to understand what His Excellency has done in this particular, his time in office, I mean, look at the road infrastructure in our country. There's nowhere you will go in Kenya and you will fail to see a tarmacked road.
There's a smell, there's a feel, there's a sight of tarmac.
That's one thing we need to acknowledge as a people, because many a times we are quick to complain about what is not working, but we don't take time to appreciate what is working.
You know,
see?
you know, every government has a project and has a plan.
Legacy
And-
project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We all know the free primary education, you know, His Excellency, the
Kibaki.
President gave.
Yeah.
People said, you know, it was going to eat into our pockets and what have you, but here we are. Almost all kids are going to school because that was his main agenda. We all know President Kibaki is an intellect. He's brilliant. So that was his brain child. Okay, women sliding into my DM.
Victor,
Women
can
sliding
you
into my
give
DM.
credit to...
You, Victor.
According
The
to
source
Pastor
and
Nana.
the author
Sorry.
of the article.
Maliza,
Okay.
women sliding into my DM.
Look at us jumping to conclusions.
That's according to Pastor Nganga.
Oh,
Not you.
Not
No,
you.
no, the story is here.
On the Star newspaper.
Don't get me wrong.
It is okay if they are. Victor.
Director, we have read that story.
Sindio?
Yeah.
Yes. So Pastor Nganga says that the 16-year-old man of God told what spoke to one of the publishers, said that the reason why women slide kwa DM yake because he's very smart. He says, and I quote, I get women sending me messages. They do not care about my age. All they want is the money. Alafu he continues to say that they flirt with me, saying that how smart I am, handsome, well-built, and all that. So we all know Pastor Nganga, you know.
We
The
need
guy is
receipts.
hot. Come on, guys. The guy is hot.
Atoe receipts.
He's 60 what? He's 60 something.
69.
Yes.
69.
And
How
you
many
dare say the guy
69s can
is-
you see with a deep voice, with lots of money, with who can strum the guitar, who can sing,
hapo kwa
who
guitar
can
sana sana.
preach? The guy is hot.
Compose some
This
good.
just turned into a guy conversation.
Yes. Troy.
Should we be part of this conversation?
Troy.
Yeah.
Guitar, right?
Yes.
We know the effect of music. And he can do it better than I. So even you, better than you.
Yes.
He can hold key G, you know, minor, treble. 69.
And he has a deep voice, huh?
Exactly.
Jade.
Hey,
You see her
Troy,
smiling.
Actually,
Troy.
currently he's married to Mercy Murugi, who is in her late 30s. It said that Nganga lost his first wife years ago after she succumbed to illness. Yeah, so yes, but nonetheless, we love Pastor Nganga. He makes our lives
Man of God, eh?
interesting. You know, it's never that serious. He's 69, but he looks like he's 40.
And then he's also a comedian. If you have checked
He
his
Yeah,
posts.
he
huh?
was quite the center of attention at his
He's still a
daughter's
comedian.
wedding
Yes.
the other weekend.
Why do I feel like Pastor Nganga has really mastered the art of media, knowing what to say, when to say, how to say it?
Inaitwa PR. Master it. The streets will never have a hand over you. All right, now we have to bring to a close this segment. This has been in the headlines, of course. Now we do believe you're better positioned to pick a paper that resonates the best with you, but we want to move on to the next segment, so do stay with us. We'll be right back.